Yo,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are
I'm
you?
good. Sorry, just finishing setting up. Let me just do this really quick. I accidentally pushed like PC off on my computer and then it just shut down. I was just like, no.
Hey, Will, what's up? I see you in the chat.
There we go. There we go. How was your day?
Oh, my day was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, I just started a new job like a week and a half ago, so I'm still the new guy,
love that.
just getting used to it all.
It's always fun being new, right?
Right.
Sweet. So, like I said, podcast is super simple. It's not anything formal. It's just a conversation. We just get to know who you are, your music, and why you love doing it.
Okay.
But the first question I like to ask is, who is blank artist? So why don't you tell me who is Thunderkidd?
So Thunderkidd is, um, you know, I'd say Thunderkidd is just an artist that tries to make music that speaks to who you are as a person. Like I try my mission with my music is to help you be the best version of yourself when you listen to my music.
Um,
I like to make stuff that's like high energy. You listen to it, you might be going through a rough day or whatever. If you're angry, you get that anger out. If you're like, you're ready to take over the world, I'm gonna give you that extra push too,
you want to be Mojo Jojo, you be Mojo Jojo.
Exactly.
I love that. I mean, what made you want to go into music and have that type of mission? Like what were you doing before you started creating music?
So I've always been in music in some sort of way, like Eddie, and Josh, guys in the chat, and Will. We grew up together, so they've seen me be in orchestra, going up through growing up through school. I was in jazz band. I played bass guitar, and then I kind of I would say sometime around high school, I got into the music production part of it, and um, around then I was like, maybe I could do this as a career, and then of course, like the thing that made it click for me was when I went to go see The Dark Knight for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And because the thing is, like, doing orchestra, you get an appreciation for classical music, and then that kind of goes into film scores and stuff like that, because I get inspired by like every form of art, and one of the art forms that inspires me the most is film. So I've always been like that type of music nerd who's like looking to see who composed this film score, who did that one, so like seeing The Dark Knight for the first time, that was one of the first movies that really just like grabbed me, and I was like locked in the whole time. And one of the biggest parts of that was the music. And then so I looked and I saw who did that, and I found out about Hans Zimmer, and then I saw how he did like the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, and he did all these theme songs that are just larger than life, you know? And I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, at first I didn't know how, because, I'm self-taught on everything that I know how to do, like making beats, recording, any of my instruments that I know how to play that I haven't touched in years. Like all that stuff I was self-taught. And so I'm just like, I don't know how to teach myself how to write sheet music and how to, do music theory and all that stuff. So I kind of saw hip hop and rap as a way to do that, because you see like Pharrell is a big inspiration for me, and he's actually worked with Hans Zimmer on 2 soundtracks. I think it was for Despicable Me 1 and 2. I don't know if he was in the 3rd one, but just like seeing how, like he's not the most technically great, like super, educated music person, but as long he makes music that feels good. And Kanye West is another person that I've studied their discography like from front to back, save like maybe some of the newer stuff. Like I don't really know Donda that well, but like everything from the College Dropout up to I would say Pablo, the Life of Pablo. I know that discography like the back of my hand, and one of my favorite, well, 2 of my favorite Kanye albums are My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy and Yeezus, because they sound larger than life. And especially like with My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy, it wasn't just the music, it was the music, it was the short film that he made to go with it, all the music videos that came out with that, every performance, like that VMAs performance with him and Pusha T, and they had the ballerinas come out on stage, like that was nuts. Like I've watched his I've watched Kanye's Coachella performance where he did Power. I think it was 2008 or 2009 Coachella performance. I've watched that so many times, and it's just like every time I think of like, what do I want to do if I got to do anything with my life? It's like I want to do that.
Now, I mean, you said that like music just started for you during your school days, but I was just reading up on you, and even though you're from Maryland, but is that what you meant by it started in Ohio?
Yes. So, it's kind of funny how I got to Ohio, because everybody's like, "Why would you move to Ohio?" And the thing is, I thought I was going to go to the Berklee College of Music at first up in Boston, but I found out about the tuition, and the tuition is insane up there. So my dad found out about Tri-C, which is a community college in downtown Cleveland, and they have a partnership program with Berklee College of Music if you go through their jazz studies program. So I went up to Cleveland to do that, and then I actually found out that Tri-C has a music production degree. And so I was just like, well, why don't I just do that? Because it's really what I want to do. I don't really want to perform with instruments and stuff. I'd rather learn how to record in the studio and stuff like that. And so I did that, and then I just couldn't figure out how to make it work, because I actually dropped out of school in 2015. And then I really didn't do anything musically until, I want to say 2018. I dropped a beat tape as Thunderkidd, and I tried to sell beats and everything like that, and that didn't really work. And so I was like, well, what if I actually try like writing songs and recording myself and seeing what I can do and push myself. And so that's what I did. And actually,
between 2015, like this is a 3-year gap, and then you said you started your songwriting, which in 2022 it shows on Spotify that your first release was Lightning. So that 3-year gap, like what kind of pushed you to still continue with music? Because you just got school, you were probably like, man, what you just said right now, like, what am I doing? You know, what's gonna work out for me?
So that's the crazy thing is like I I actually tried to give up music a couple times. And I just kept finding my way back to it because I truly love music. I love making it. I love listening to it. I love finding out things about other people's music, and like I hear music in my head 24/7. You know.
So what is it about music then? Because I mean, I'm not saying I don't understand that. Like, I do
Mhm.
understand that. I love music, you know, but here I am with the music podcast. You know what I mean? Like, why were you so easily drawn into music? Like, what is it about it? Is it the emotions that you felt? Is it the spark of creativity in that minute? Like, what is it about music?
Um, I don't know. I've just it's hard for me to explain because it's just always been a part of me. It's really how I express myself. I guess if I had to try and like put it into words, it's probably about the emotions and expressing the emotions, um, and just like just I can always tell you how I'm feeling better through music than I can with just talking, I guess. You know?
No, I mean, that's valid just because, like, I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, saying how you feel through beats, through chords, through lyrics, for some reason, that's like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But then, like, when you're actually vocal and using your voice, not singing or rapping, it's
Hmm.
like, what are words? You know?
Exactly. It's like how do I do it? I
And
don't know.
I mean, I'm guessing, like, again, just going back to your influences, you were talking about Hans Zimmerman, you were talking about Pharrell, you were talking about Kanye. And again, these are artists that have, like, that visual taste as well, but really know how to pull your emotions, like, really tap into
Exactly.
that, right? Like, I just blanked out, but the song with Power and Runaway, the little short
Hmm.
film, watching that, you're gonna just be confused, you're gonna be feeling angry, upset,
Exactly.
right? And then same thing with Hans Zimmerman. He just has instruments, you know, but he knows how to pull out your heartstrings first just with those. You know, I'm
Yeah.
guessing with these influences, did that or in that time period, did that kind of push you towards songwriting because it is easier to express?
So I actually started songwriting when I had this job working in payroll, and it was the first time where I'd been in an office environment, and it was like totally just foreign to me, and I was trying to get acclimated to everything, and it just wasn't working because that job was crazy. It was like super crazy stressful, and so like I was making beats, and the beats just weren't enough, and so I was like, let me try writing songs and doing that. And it was so it kind of songwriting was really more of just like a form of stress relief at that point.
Now, when you, I just want to ask this, but like when you said you were making beats, was that just for money at the time? And then where you're saying right now is songwriting was just so you can release, you didn't really think those would be songs, or?
I was not making any money off beats. I think, yeah, to this day, Josh, he's in the chat right now. He's watching right now. Shout out to Josh Madden. He's the only person that's bought beats from me ever. but
Shout out to Josh. Hey,
yeah,
Josh.
shout out to Josh. But to be fair, at that point, I was, not good at marketing, didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, I mean, to be honest, like just doing this to me is crazy because I used to never be vocal on social media at all. So just like if you told me like the me that was writing those songs back in 2021 and releasing songs in 2022 that I would be on a live, talking about the music I made, yeah, I'd be like, no way, no way.
About that, just because if you asked me even a year ago, you have a podcast. I didn't even start going live at first. So I was like, you have a podcast. I was like, no way are people going to listen to me, hear my voice. That's
Right.
crazy. And now I'm here. I'm just like, oh my God, did I really do that?
Exactly.
Like,
But the imposter syndrome goes away after a while. It's just like, yeah, I do this.
it's kind of like building your confidence in a way. Like you always wanted to, right? But it was just taking those first steps towards it, working on it, progressing at it.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing that's where you're at. And especially for releasing, going back to your first song, Lightning, August, I dropped my pencil, August 2022. Now that's your first song on Spotify. But even though that was just your first song, you definitely popped it like a soda can, right?
Okay, so you actually did listen to it. All right.
I had to, of course.
You're like, Nardwar, yeah, we have to know.
No, I mean, just from your first song, like releasing that, going everything what you've been through, what gave you that little fire, like, oh my God, I'm going to continue doing this. I know I'm on the right path. Like I have my listeners who are listening, because that's one of your top 5 songs.
Yeah. So, I guess at first I was super nervous to put that out. But one of the things I did to actually like practice like breath control and like rapping and everything like that and songwriting is on my lunch breaks from that job and at payroll, I was actually in my car like recording and like trying out song ideas and different vocal techniques and stuff like that. So, like people would go outside my building and like walk around, and sometimes they would see me in my car and I would see them, and it was kind of like a thing where it's like I felt naked almost, like, oh my God, like you're seeing me and I'm just in my car, like, and I'm talking, like screaming into a microphone or whatever, and I know I look crazy. So that kind of built up my confidence before even releasing any of my music. And then once I released that first song, I was getting text messages from friends and family and stuff and getting DMs and like, whoa, I didn't know you could do all that. And I'm just like, I didn't know either, but here we are. But so that gave me a little bit to keep going. And then what the next song I released, Treadmill, that one was like a complete 180 as far as like vibe and like the just like how I approach the song, because that song is more like it's like me talking to me in my head or something like that, it was
So at that
at the
point, were
time
you just kind of like experimenting your sounds in a way, or?
I was experimenting with my sound and I wanted to push myself lyrically, and then I also wanted to see like, okay, like anybody can rap and they can, be loud and in your face and, go a mile a minute with punchlines and all that stuff, and people are going to listen to it. But can I be emotional? Can I be vulnerable? And can I get people to vibe with that? And people like it. So I'm just like, okay, so I can do the hype shit. I can do the emotional shit. I'm sorry. Can I curse on the podcast?
No, you're good. You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
So I can do the hype shit. I can do the emotional shit, and it's like other people feel like this too. And so, you know, all I wanted to do was, you know, like push myself, be the best version of myself that I could be. And I'm just like, so if people are really gravitating to the emotional stuff, well, maybe I can help people through the stuff they're going through, you know?
So, I mean, at that point, did you find it more valuable to connect to your listeners more than just to relate to them?
Yeah,
Now, like, what,
definitely.
like after creating Lightning, after creating Treadmill, like, what did you notice about your music? Like, what was it feeling comfortable in a certain song or style or lyrics? Like,
I would say, uh, I would say that the biggest thing that I learned was that people that liked my music would like me experimenting with different things. Because while I would say my bread and butter is loud, high energy, like basically big drums and a catchy melody or a catchy sound, right?
yeah.
Um, but you don't want that all the time. And so I want to be, I want to have a catalog of music, or a collection of sounds. I started calling my catalog that from somebody on Threads. I think it was Logos the God. He called it a collection of sounds, and I thought that sounded really, really dope.
Yeah.
I want a collection of sounds that's able to touch on all sorts of emotions and all sorts of things that you might be going through.
Mm-hmm. No,
So it's like, you
the
can
whole.
have me everywhere.
No, I mean I understand that. It's just I guess my question is from the influences you named and then
Mhm.
having this idea of collection of sounds. Now, when you listen to music on your own time, that's not yours.
Yeah.
What's the type of music that you're listening to or even inspires your sound?
Mm. I would definitely say I lean towards things that sound like really cinematic, or I also lean towards like electronic stuff. Like, I don't know, have you seen Tron Legacy?
Yeah, I have.
So that soundtrack by Daft Punk, I've been chasing that high since I can remember.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't blame you.
so it's like if I can find somewhere where where my beautiful twisted dark fantasy and the Tron Legacy soundtrack meet, like
That's like
that's where I
chef's
want to
kiss
live
right there.
forever.
Yeah, I feel that. Okay. And I just wanted to ask, just because like I know we could like name all these artists, all these movies, but just really
Mm,
what you do in your own time kind of just reflects that as well. You know, talking about Tron, talking about The Dark Knight, you know, all these movies that really helped shape you
mhm.
as an artist. I mean, that just kind of leads us to this year where three of your songs are on your top three, and one of them being Spiral.
Yeah.
That was released this summer.
Yeah, June 28th. I just looked at the stats earlier.
And yeah, I mean, those are pretty impressive for an artist who only started releasing in 2022, right? I mean, I think so.
Yes. Yes. So for that, I have to give like a, I mean, of course the songs are great. Um, but I've gotten so much support and so much help from un, unknown sound recordings. I don't know if he's watching right now, but Russell, if you're watching, if you're listening to this on Spotify, thank you so much. He's actually part of the reason why I was able to even to get on stage as Thunderkidd, because like I was making all these songs, right, and I was just like, I want to make it real, because I even with having those songs out, I kind of had like a little bit of imposter syndrome, and I was just like, if I really want to like do this, I have to take it to the live experience, right? Because it's like I want that 2009 Kanye West Power Coachella performance, and I'm not gonna get there if I can't get on stage, you know?
Yeah.
So I was looking for open mics in Cleveland, and he was hosting one at the Foundry Kitchen and Bar in Lakewood. And I came out there. I got on stage and I think I only did one song because that's all I had prepped at the time. I did Fresh Out, and I actually met Ron Cross there. So he's a Cleveland artist, and I met him there, and then he gave me an opportunity to perform live at his event, and then in between that open mic and the show at the Outpost, which happened like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after, Russell put me on a bunch of the playlists that he was running, and those playlists, you know, it's not a bot farm or anything. Like they're legit listens, and
Right.
I just saw. I think it was I saw a little bit of a bump in that week after the open mic, and then when I went to that event with hey, Big Trip is in here. Hey, what's up, bro? After I went to the event where Ron had me on stage, I met Big Trip. I met who is Kaizen. I know he's in here somewhere. I met a bunch of Cleveland artists. We all killed it. And after that show, I just saw a vertical, and it was crazy. And yeah, so it's not like I did it by myself. I could have never have done all this by myself. I had a lot of help this year, and I can't stop saying thank you.
No, I mean, like with all these like collaborations, all this teamwork right here, would you say like if you learned anything from this year, would you say like that was the key to your success? Like not just working alone. Like that time you worked alone, it was more like a learning phase, do this, do that, what feels right. And this year, it was more about connecting with others, not only like helping them, but them helping you in a way so it's even.
Yes, and honestly, I like in 2023, I had a short list of goals, and like one of them was to try and do as many collaborations as I could, and because I realized, you know, music is a collaborative thing anyway,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's an area that I haven't done that well in, is collaborating and like letting people into my creative process or lending my talents to their creative stuff. So just to pivot a little bit, one of my Maryland homies, his name is Versace Vernboy. We grew up together too, and he's been rapping ever since like middle school. I think we still have a video we did on YouTube floating around from like 2011 or something like that, where we're both rapping. Yep. See, Will knows. Will knows. um, and he actually sent me, like, out of the blue. He was just like, "Yo, I got this verse, this open verse on a song. You want to get on it?" I said, "Hell yeah, let me get on it." So I collaborated with him on that, and I was like, "Wow, that was so easy, and it felt good to not have to make the beat, mix the beat, make some, like, write a whole hook, write two verses, write an outro, write an intro, and all that. Like, I could just do 16 bars, and then we made some magic happen. You know, it's like, so why don't I just keep doing that?" You know?
Yeah. No, I feel that. And I mean, I'm guessing like since then, you've just kind of been finding new connections in a way where you can find like producers, find other rappers, or
Yeah.
anything that you think is a good fit for your music.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Actually, with now that you speak about collaborations, I've been working on a collaborative mixtape um, called Futuristic Fly Shit Planet 23. Uh, so basically, um, okay, I'm trying to make it concise, because if you can't tell, I I have this tendency to just ramble. But I get inspired by comics as well. And one thing that happens in comics a lot is like these crossover events, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you'll have these things where it's like it'll be like a big thing, like Civil War, right? Which is a Marvel comic thing. So the big event is Civil War, and it brings all the heroes from all their individual stories into this one big thing.
Okay.
But then everybody still has their individual stories where they kind of go off and do their own thing. So I wanted to start a mixtape series where I might collaborate with this producer over here, or maybe the next one I'm with, I'm doing something with a rapper, kind of like What a Time to Be Alive, like Drake and Future type thing, you know? Like, I don't want each installment of Futuristic Fly Shit to be the same.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. That makes sense. It's almost like now I know we're talking about comics, but I mean it kind of made me think of like the order of how the Marvel movies came out. Like they're all connected to each other, right? But then it's
yes,
like one story comes out this time, and then after that it's a totally different like superhero. Is that like what you're saying? Because I got excited from that.
exactly. That's kind of the point. And like I also have I have I kind of also uh, um, like I rap as myself, right? Thunderkidd. But then I also have, since I do some motivational type stuff sometimes I'm rapping about like stuff that I want, or stuff that I haven't experienced yet, and like I want to like just talk my shit basically, and just be flashy, because I'd like jewelry and stuff. I like fashion. So I had this persona that I've been kind of working on called the Fly Jedi. And so I'm just like, how do I put that into my music without, uh, and keeping it fun? Because I'm still experimenting with that. So I feel like having a mixtape series where I just kind of do whatever, I feel like that's a good way to do that.
Now, like this collaboration album, is that like a time that you think you'd release? Well, not release, but introduce the Fly Jedi in a way.
Yes. Yes, this is the Fly Jedi introduction.
Okay, there we go. This is pretty cool. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I want to make sure I shout him out. His name is Trey. Is That You? You can search him on Instagram. He's on here. I don't know if he's on Threads yet. I don't think so. But he's basically given me all these beats that I'm currently writing and recording over. If you've heard Billy BC, which we released in November, that is the first single off of this mixtape. And then I have we have another song coming out. It's dropping January 1st. It's called Run It. Hey, Rose Films, what's up, boy? I gotta shout. Okay, speaking of collaborations, I gotta shout out Rose because one, he did my first music video. He filmed my first music video for Lightspeed, and then he also did a photo shoot for me, and that was my first photo shoot ever. It was fucking awesome. It was fun to do, and then at the same time, I used all of the photos from that photo shoot in the album cover, like the artwork for the songs that I did, like for Fresh Out, Spiral, Manifesto, Magneto Montana. I know I'm missing some Watercolored Memory. I know. Bro, I'm telling you, when I come back to Cleveland, or if I ever come back to Cleveland for a show or whatever, I'm calling you up immediately because I'm gonna need you on video or photos or something. Like, and I'm gonna have a budget too, so, so we can really do it all the way.
There we go.
But okay, I got distracted a little bit. So, Futuristic Fly Shit, January 1st. We're dropping Run It, and this is where I can finally return the favor to Versace Burn Boy. I'm having him featured on my song this time. This shit is a fucking banger. Like, I don't know if you saw my post on Threads about it.
Probably.
By the way, if you're not following me on Threads and you can't get enough of me talking and me never shutting the fuck up, like, go on Threads, because I'm active on Threads. I'm not really active on IG or Facebook anymore, especially not Facebook, because it's like, that's like the last stop on the internet nowadays. But Threads, I've been talking about it, and I describe Run It as run through a brick wall music. Because every time I listen to it, I get hyped as fuck. Like,
That's what I was thinking, but like it's so hyped that you just want to run through a building.
Yes.
All right.
I'm telling you, like,
Kool-Aid man vibes over here. I dig it though. I like that visual.
Yes.
Like, it just kind of gets you excited in a way, because it's just like, if it's that hype, you know it's gonna be hype for sure, right?
Yes, and it's crazy because there was like a week in September where I went over to Trey's house, my producer friend. I went over to Trey's house for like every day for like maybe 4 to 5 days. And I would just write stuff. I would make my own beats. Leon Starks was there too. He's a songwriter, beat maker, singer, fucking all around talented, crazy talented dude. We were all working on our own stuff, and then like Trey would play beats that he was working on. And he was actually trying to show me beats that he ended up sending me later. But he accidentally played the beat for Run It. And I only heard like 4 seconds of it. And it was just one of those moments where, like, cause, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a studio session or anything like a songwriting session, but you're all just kind of like talking and, you know, doing your own thing. But it had me like locked in. Like, I had to stop. It was like when I watched The Dark Knight for the first time. I was like, hold up, what was that? Run it back. He's like, oh no, it's not done. I'm like, no, fuck that. Run it back. What was that? Like, I need to hear that again.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard it, I was just like, I started humming stuff, and then I started to like form the hook in my head a little bit, and I was just like, I was hitting him up for like maybe 2 days straight. I'm like, bro, I need that beat. He's like, oh, it's just a loop. It's just a 4-bar loop. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I have Pro Tools. Send me the 4-bar loop. I'll put it in Pro Tools and loop it and loop it and loop it, and I'll make a song out of it. Like, I need that.
I said what I said. I want it now.
Exactly. And I even told him. I told him when he played that, I'm just like, this is some Batman shit. Like, this is some Dark Knight shit. Like, yeah. Like, he I don't know what he did to make that, but it gives me that larger than life, that Hans Zimmer soundtrack score feeling.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I know you just talked about like some upcoming releases coming up really soon. Right around the corner, probably less than a week now, a couple weeks.
Yep.
But I just kind of want to backtrack a little before we talk about performances, because you were talking about fly shit, just doing what you want, being able to do what you do, what want to do. Now, what is that? Like, are you just talking about like being a big time producer, a big time performer? Like, what is it that you truly want, or you see yourself like really being happy about that you achieved in the future?
It's kind of hard to say because I have so many different interests. I guess what I would say, like, if in a perfect world, if I got everything I wanted, right, I would just be going to the studio every day. I'd either be making beats and sending them to people, or I'd be, collaborating with people, writing songs with them, and then performing, and then just probably buying art. Like, I want my house to look like an art museum.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like, with everything you just said right now, being able to produce beats, collaborating, having a dream home. Now, if you could have this dream production, you got to not collaborate, but you got to choose anyone as your mentor to create this beautiful masterpiece. Who would that be?
I feel like it would either have to be Pharrell or Timbaland. And that's purely because of sound selection. Because, like, I mean, like, the thing with Timbaland, right? Because this is another thing I didn't really touch on. He's a big musical influence, but more so him and Justin Timberlake together, because another album that's had a really, really big impact on my songwriting and just the type of music I like to make is the 2020 Experience.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard that album, or if you've just
with like
heard Suit and Tie.
Vision, right?
To me, maybe outside of anything Michael Jackson has done, that is perfect pop music in like the best sense. You can say whatever you want about, like, oh, I don't like pop music because it's cheesy, it's corny, it's like, no, no. Like, some of the beats flips on those songs Like,
Mm-hmm.
and just the sound selection and the way it's put together, because they've got a real band, because they got the Tennessee Kids on there, and then you've got Timbaland with the way he makes beats. He's got like his little, like, he puts little sounds in there, and it's just like, how did you get that in there and make it sound good? Like, there's one song in there where it's a cricket, I think, that's in the song, and it's just like, a cricket chirping is not supposed to sound good, but he can make it sound good. So if I could collaborate with anybody to make, like, that My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy meets the Tron Legacy soundtrack, it's got to be one of those two, because they're like, I don't know, they're like aliens almost.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was actually surprised that you said Timbaland, because first thing I automatically thought of was like him collaborating with Missy Elliott, having that hip hop sound. But now what you said just kind of makes sense, because it's just like he doesn't really have one sound, but he's really good at creating different sounds that fit the right artist, right?
Exactly.
That makes sense. That's a cool answer, actually. Yeah, no. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
That's cool. Yeah, no, Timbaland and Pharrell, which, I mean, I know we already talked about Pharrell, but yeah, that was really cool seeing like where your point of view for that. But I mean, we talked about upcoming music, but what about upcoming performances now with this new release dropping on January 1st? Does that mean you're gonna have a performance before or after?
I'm not really sure about performances right now, because I actually just moved. Like, I moved from Cleveland to Maryland back in October, but I actually
Mhm.
wasn't able. I was staying with family until about 3 weeks ago. So I'm still getting settled in the new place. Like, if I turn the camera around, you just see boxes and just shit everywhere. Um,
You didn't want to
so
show us that?
I've got nothing to hide.
There we go.
It's just, stuff is everywhere right now. So, I'm just trying to get settled with that, get settled into the new job, and then, um, and then, and as soon as I have any performances, I'll probably be doing open mics and stuff. I know Josh and I went to, what was it, Tacoma Thursdays. It's at Tacoma Station out in DC. I'll probably be doing some of those. And then, actually, one of the artists I met out there, Lil Siege, he was posting something about a venue called Free Space, and they're in Elk Ridge, Maryland, and they have open mics as well. So I'll probably be doing some open mics, and then just trying to figure out what kind of performances I can do for people that are not in Maryland, because that's kind of the challenging thing for performances right now, because it's like, I want to be able to give that live music experience to people in Cleveland, but at the same time, I don't really have money to travel back and forth, or even the time. Uh, so I just want to take some time to create a bunch of music, and like stack it up, and then figure out ways that I can perform for everybody.
Now,
that
I mean,
likes
like with
listening.
these performances, with this music releasing soon. Oh my God, damn it. 1 second.
Oh.
Stupid sensor lights, you know? There we go. Yeah, with this new music coming up, even performances that may happen in the future,
Yeah.
where's the best place that listeners can follow you at to stay updated?
So I would say Threads for sure. Because Threads for me is basically I'm on there every day, more than I should probably. So any updates you'll definitely get on Threads first, and then if you're not on Threads yet, I would say Instagram.
Okay. And so, like, just to plug in your Instagram and Threads handle, could you plug that in?
Oh yeah, of course. So it's at Thunderkidd Music. That's Thunderkidd with two D's. But yeah, it's the same across all social media platforms.
Awesome. And I mean, I will attach links to this episode, so it's just an easy access. People who want to follow you on here, on Threads, they're just one click away.
Yeah, of course. And then if you go to my page, you click on the link in my bio, that'll take you to my link tree. You can hear the music I've released already. You can hear a preview of Run It and pre-save it. So you can hear it first when it drops on January 1st. And then it'll have links to my Threads, to my TikTok, to my YouTube, all that.
There we go. But other than that, that's going to be it for the podcast.
All right.
Thank you for being on, for collaborating, for not being creeped out that we just met on Threads.
Hey, thank you for reaching out, because like I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a DM from, somebody that's trying to be a scammer or it's a bot or something like that. So, having somebody reach out to me and they're legit and they do good work, and just giving a spotlight to up and coming artists that just started, artists that are more established. What you do is really great, honestly. And I wish there were more people like you.
Thank you. I don't know how not to feel awkward, but thank you.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
You understand, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I appreciate the kind words, and I had fun getting to know you. I always have fun getting to know all the artists that's been on here, and I'm more than happy to have you on here again in the future once you've released more music, just to share your journey then, and where you're at then.
Hey, just say the word. I'll be there.
Okay, cool, sweet. But I won't take more of your time. I'll let you go. But thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Peace.